Om Sadashivasamabhadam Shankaracharyamathyamam Asmadacharyaparyantam Vande Guruparamparam Shrutismritipurāṇāṁ Ālayam Karuṇālayam Namami Bhagavad-pāda Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankarācharyam Keshavam Bhādarāyam Sudrabhāśyakritav Vande Bhagavantau Punaಃ Punaಃ Sasthajanakalyāne Niratam Karuṇāye Namāmi Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma-vidvam Jiva Jagath Jagadeshwara. Jiva Jagath we have been seeing. The ultimate final statement in Vedanta is Ekam Advitiyam Brahma. There is only one non-dual Brahma. There is nothing else. It is, of course, a great inherent power, capacity of that one non-dual Brahman to appear as many. That is all. And we know from ordinary experience that we see many things. That is one that can appear as many. That is a normal experience for us. Like, for example, one water appearing as ice, liquid, or gas without changing its basic nature, isn't it? So from ordinary experience we know that. The problem with the ordinary examples, like I showed you the clay, here is an elephant, here is a dog, here is a plate, cup, everything. It is the same one clay which can take any form. The problem with all of the regular ordinary experiences is those things which we use as examples, water, clay, we're using them as examples, they can only take a limited number of forms. They have limitations, isn't it? Water can only take these forms, or clay can only take these certain forms. And for example, you can take clay and make the form of an elephant, take clay and make the form of a dog, take clay and make the form of a giraffe. But take clay and make the form of a thought, how you do? It can't. You see, take clay and make the form of air. So the difference is, while these ordinary things, which can take many forms, the number of forms they can take is very much limited. But existence, Sat, which is Brahman, which is the same Ekam Advitiyam Brahma we are talking about, its nature is such that it can take infinite number of forms which are even inconceivable to our mind. That is the difference. Namarup. Form means Namarup. When we say form, we mean also Nama along with name and form. And I told you on the one of the previous days also that the inherent capacity of water to take various forms does not make water dual. An inherent capacity does not make that substance as dual. It is still one uniform water. In other words, an inherent capacity is not something which dualizes the substance. Like clay. Clay can take all of these forms. But clay, when it is a clump like that, it is not dual clay. It is not that it has clay and it has an additional thing inside. The additional thing will make it dual. This I am telling because of a very important question which always comes up. So let us start from Brahman again, and then you'll see the question also. We say there is Brahman. This Brahman has inherent power called as Maya. So when we make that statement, people say that Brahman has a second thing. So Brahman is not non-dual. Brahman is dual because there is Brahman and there is Maya. So there are two things. So how are you saying Advitiyam? There is Brahman and Maya. So we are saying the Maya is not a second thing, like the capacity of the water to take the various forms is not a second thing, it is just a capacity. You understand that? A capacity is not a second thing. The capacity of the clay to take various forms is not a second thing in the clay. A second thing would be that which is there in addition to clay. So there is clay and something else. But if you look at that thing under microscope, either water or clay or whatever, you only see clay, isn't it? You don't see a second thing. In other words, it is the inherent nature of clay to appear as this or that or any other thing. And that inherent nature, if we say it is an inherent nature of a thing, that doesn't mean to say it is the second thing. It is the thing itself, isn't it? So Maya is the inherent power in Brahman which does not dualize Brahman. It is the inherent power, capacity of Brahman to appear in this form, that form, the other form, or all the countless various forms. This is how you have to understand that Maya is part and parcel of Brahman, but it is not a second thing in Brahman. So you have Brahman and Maya at the same. I will give you time to think about this. You have to think about this in your own. I'll have to tell you that you must think about this a lot in your own time, because if you are a Vedantic student, then you have to think about these two fundamental things, Brahman and Maya, because these are the fundamentals of Vedanta. Right? How is it that Brahman possesses an inherent power, but it is not a second thing in Brahman? It is the nature of Brahman. It is the nature of Brahman to be like this, or to be like that, or to be like any countless number of forms. It is its very own nature. But since that is the nature of Brahman, we just gave it a name, Maya. It's an inherent capacity to appear as countless forms, whichever, inconceivable forms. That being said, now, Brahman, Maya, two words are being used. It is one thing with an inherent power, right? Inherent capacity. See, power, when we say that, also alludes to a second thing. Capacity, when we say, it alludes less to a second thing. So Brahman with inherent capacity. Inherent capacity called Maya. Now, one more thing. You know, if you have been to, at one time I was posted in Noida. Noida, you know, outside Delhi. So there's a big area there where the government of India, they have made housing for retired major generals of the army, officers who are higher rank officers. They give them housing there when they retire. So in that place, when I used to have class like this, there used to be many of those major generals sitting there. Now, once that major general took me to that army base to meet his I used to like those things because you get to see what is going on. So even when they are retired, they still have their title, you know, Major General so and so. So when he walked into that base, all those people. Huh? So yeah, I mean, have respect for him. He controlled a big battalion of, when he was there. So everybody had. Then, when I go to his house for Bhiksha, that is a different story. Because घर में एक दुबली पतली baby like this, 100 pounds. When she tells, go to the market and buy her wheat, he does. It means when he's at a base, so many people, big people. When he comes home, and this skinny little wife, she tells, do this, do. He said, yes, ma'am. So now, when he walks into that base, all of them, all these people, they are seeing his inherent power, isn't it? And so, when he comes home, his wife does not see that power. Correct or not? Huh? If she saw that power, she will also. So when he walks into his door, he's stripped of his power. Like if you take off your shoes there. He's stripped of his power. She does not see any power there or anything. So in other words, that same individual, you can see him with his power, or you can see him without his power. Correct or not? And that happens on a daily basis. He goes there, they salute. He comes there, he salutes. Or whatever. Huh? So in other words, you have an opportunity. You look at the individual with his power, or you look at the individual without his power. There, when he goes to the base, when he was an active soldier, worker, he used to flex his power. Whatever he says, everybody does it. So now he's retired. Now he cannot go and flex his power there. They only respect because they're people, but he cannot go and order something, isn't it? But it's the same man. So that same man at one time, power. Same man at other time, no power. And also you can see that man with his power, even when he was in active duty. You can see him with his power, and his wife sees no power. In the very same way, when Brahman is seen with that inherent power of Maya, and because of that inherent power, we say Brahman takes on various forms. So when that is considered, Brahman with his inherent power of Maya, and in that case taking on various forms, and Brahmandas and all, that time that Brahman is called as Ishvara. There's a different name only. And when Brahman is seen without that power, just as Brahman, not manifesting, not just there like a clump of clay, not in the form of elephant, not in the form of dog, not in the form of, it's a clump of clay, not taking on any forms. That time, seen without that power, not considering that power of Brahman, that time we call Brahman only. You get this thing? It is not that Brahman can sometimes drop his power and leave it at home or something. We are not talking about that. That's not possible. The power is inherent and as infinite as Brahman. So when seen with that power, considered with that power, that Brahman is called as Ishvara. Now in English, because of the limitations of the language, we say when Brahman is conditioned by that power, conditioned by Maya, there is all technical words. Brahman conditioned by Maya is called as Ishvara. Unconditioned Brahman is called as Brahman. When Bruce Lee is dead, he is called as Deadly. When Bruce Lee is alive, some people say lively. We say no Bruce Lee. Anyway, so when that Brahman is considered without Maya power, it's only called as Brahman or Brahma. Remember that was the word we said, Brahma. When considered with that power of Maya, with that inherent innate power, that Brahman is now called as Ishvara, right? So in other words, Brahman is Brahman minus Maya. Brahman plus Maya is equal to Ishvara, like that. Now, it is in that mode that we consider Brahman, in the mode where his inherent power is being utilized. And that time, he is a karta, he is a doer. Ishvara is a karta, called Jagat Karta. Have you heard that word? Jagat Karta means the doer of everything in this Jagat, called Jagat Karta. Right. Now, what does he do? It's called Jagat Karta. He does things. So, we classify those things into three groups. Jagat Karta Ishvara is Karta now. Means in use of his power. He's called as Jagat Karta, and he does three main things. When he is manifesting things in this universe, he is called as Brahmaji. Brahman, you see? So Ishvara, when he is manifesting things in this universe, he is called as Brahmaji. Yes. And things that are manifesting will be manifest for some time. Like right now, this book is manifest. Let us say in 1955 it was not there. Now in 2019 it is there. So it is manifest. But it will not always be manifest. You know that. At some time it will go out of manifestation, right? So the thing at one point is not manifest, then becomes manifest, stays for a while, and then goes on. This is the nature of this world in which we live, including Brahmandas, suns and stars and all of them. Scientists tell you that stars explode. A star is like our sun. So one of these days our sun also, kaboom, everything will go. And even if it lasts 5 billion years, 5 billion years in infinite time is no time. 5 billion years in infinite, zero time also. Doesn't feature also. So anyway, the things come, they manifest, means they stay for a while and go out of manifestation. These are the words you have to start using here. Not they are created. I'm saying manifest. Manifest means it was there in an unmanifest form and became manifest. Then it goes out of manifestation. It goes in an unmanifest form again. Those three functions of Ishvara have been isolated, and when Ishvara is performing the first function, that Ishvara at that time is given a Nama Rupa. When he is performing the first function of manifesting things in the universe, he is given Nama Rupa. What is the Nama? Brahmaji. But Rupa, Chatur, what do you call that? Four-headed or whichever form you want to tell of Brahman. Brahmaji, right? So he is given Nama. Who? Ishvara. Because Ishvara is Jagat Karta. Jagat Karta means Ishvara. But he has these three main functions, and everything can fit into these three main functions, isn't it? So when he is Jagat Karta as a manifester of things in this universe, he is called as Brahmaji. When he is sustaining things in this universe, he is called as Vishnu. And when he is dissolving things in this universe, sending it into demanifestation, he is called as Shiva. He is given a different Nama, Rupa. You know that. If you're working in your garden, you put on a different clothes. If you're working in your office, you put on a different clothes, isn't it? Whatever role you're going to do, you put on a different clothes there. Every time you take up a different nama roop. You're called gardener, isn't it? And you look like a gardener also. Gloves and everything. You don't go to your office in your computer with gloves. So, Ishvara has these three main forms. This is Ishvara, remember, infinite Brahman with infinite power, isn't it? And in that mode of manifesting, Brahmaji, in that mode of sustaining, Vishnu, and the mode of dissolving, Shiva. Do you know? If you really think about that a little bit, you will realize the three acts are one and same. There is like is only one coin but two sides, isn't it? Well, you could have a prism or some other thing with many sides, but it's one prism. Correct or not? So there are things where it is one object but has different sides. This actually of manifestation, sustenance, and dissolution is actually one act with three aspects. See, I'll show you. A thing which is unmanifest, right? Then Brahmaji has to bring it into manifestation. See this, eh? Brahmaji has to bring something from unmanifest to manifest. Its unmanifest state has to dissolve for its manifest state to come. So in the dissolution of the unmanifest comes the manifest. And in the dissolution of the manifest again becomes the unmanifest. Correct? And that process is sustained. The process has to be sustained also. The process has to be carried on. So there is sustenance, there is dissolution and manifestation, all three at one and the same time. Every act of manifestation is also an act of dissolution. And every act of dissolution is also an act of yes. And that is a process. So it is being sustained. So it is sustenance, dissolution and manifestation. All three are, because it is one Ishvara who is doing all three. We just, for the purposes of analysis, we just separate the three. Like you can separate things analytically, which in reality cannot be separated. Like you cannot separate the light and the heat from the sun. But analytically you can do it. But really you cannot take your hands and separate the two. They don't separate. So here the three acts are one and same because it's Ishvara. But we separate the three acts and we say when Ishvara is doing this, he's called Brahmaji. When he's doing this, he's called Vishnu. Or he takes a Nama roop, that also. Takes a Nama roop for this, takes Nama roop for this, and takes Nama roop for this. Those three now, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, they now also, Ishvara in the form of Brahmaji, Ishvara in the form of Vishnu, Ishvara in the form of Mahesh, like this. That same Ishvara, through these forms now, takes further avatars. So Brahmaji has taken avatar so many times different ways. He's taken avatar with Vedas. He's taken avatar with Jamavant in Ramayana is Brahmaji. You know Jamavant we were talking about yesterday? He is Brahmaji. Like that. As Lord Vishnu has taken so many avatars. Many. And as Bhagavan Shiva is Dakshinamurti and Hanuman and various avatars like that. Shankaracharya. So, in Bhagavad also, here Ved Vyasji is the one who wrote Bhagavad, the Vishnu avatar. But his son Shukadev is the one who is teaching Bhagavad. to Parikshit Maharaj. This is Shiva avatar. So like this, all of them have taken various avatars at various times. These are all in forms of Ishvara. So this is the concept of avatar, means Lord Vishnu coming as Ram, Lord Vishnu coming as Krishna, or Brahmaji coming as Jamvat, or Lord Shiva coming as Hanumanji, like that. So now, it doesn't matter what the appearances of all these avatars are. Remember, now when you go back, it is the same Shuddha Chaitanya, Brahma. That Shuddha Chaitanya conditioned by a body here is called a Sakshi. That's Shuddha Chaitanya now, which is now identified with this body and all. It's called as Jiva. Huh? But remember, if it goes through this process, it is still Shuddha Chaitanya. When water goes from solid to liquid to gas, it is still H2O. Doesn't in any way change. There is no modification. The superimposition of a name and form on a fundamental object does not change the nature of the fundamental object. So, if Brahman is manifesting, coming down like this, Brahman, Ishvara, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and they are taking further avatar. In all of that, this Atma Chaitanya, which is coming down in whichever form, nothing changes. What is the difference between one of these avatars and all of us then? Only the Upadhi. That Upadhi of the avatar is able to reflect more consciousness and means more of Chaitanya than our Upadhi. Like a mirror is able to reflect more light than this wall. That is the only difference. This is Upadhi. The sunlight is one and same. The sunlight which falls on the mirror, sunlight which falls on the wall, same sunlight. But one Upadhi absorbs all the light. The other Upadhi reflects all the light. So our Upadhi done. That is all. More tamas. The avatar's Upadhi is more sattva. You see? So the avatar has all, in other words, and that is why he said the avatars also, they manifest with different colors. That's why Bhagavan Shri Krishna is called a Purna avatar. 16 colors. The colors are divided into 16. Color means what? Portions. So if it is 16 colors, it means that Lord Krishna comes with all the powers. Some avatars come with 10, 12 colors, like that. So in other words, they don't exhibit all the power of Brahman. Bhagavan Shri Krishna had the capacity to exhibit any power. But look here, even one color for an avatar is enough. and what about our, how many colors we come with? 0. In morning we cannot find our glasses. What's Sarvagnya? See, they color means they know everything. Sarvagnya, we don't know where our glasses are or your keys. Now they have to make some beeper on the key. So you press something in the house, the key beeps over there. Then you have to find your key, isn't it? So our Upadhi is so dull, so tamasic that we don't know anything. Simple thing. And he Sarvagnya, Alpagnya. What do you mean Alpagnya? Sarvagnya means all knowing. Alpagnya means little knowing. Our little knowing is so little knowing that we have 0 Gnya. Means know almost nothing. So that Upadhi of the avatar is of a higher order. In the universe, please remember, from that Brahman also, space, air, fire, water, earth. From the space, air, fire, water, earth, all these Upadhis are formed. Right? So the different degrees of combination of the space, air, fire, water, earth will determine the nature of the Upadhis. Yes. Like in this nature around us, when they find mercury and they put on that mirror, it reflects. So mercury is of a different nature than wood. Wood cannot reflect. And so in nature also we see different types of objects which can reflect sunlight differently. In the very same way, the 5 elements which go into making these body, mind and intellect and all of these things, they can reflect consciousness variously. like that. So the upadhi of the avatars and all is of higher order, and the upadhi of this ordinary human being. And then it goes for the other animals, even worse. They don't know anything. Sometimes not knowing also is better. Look here. If you catch a donkey, he has a rope on his neck. So you hold this rope. You take a stick and you give 5. Right? And then you let him go. He'll run away. Then next day, you see the donkey over there and you show the stick like this. The donkey will come? He'll not come, isn't it? When you show that stick, he'll. But this human being, he is born in this world and he gets beating from birth till death. And he goes and then he comes back for another round of this. So between the donkey and this human being, who's faster? We go Punarapi Janana, Punarapi Marana. We come back each time. Another round of blows. Kya baat hai? That's why it's better don't know sometimes. Better the donkey doesn't know. That fellow, that one man, he went to the donkey market, animal market where they were selling animals. He went to buy 5 donkeys. He goes walking long way and he buys 5 donkeys. And while coming back, he was riding on one of the donkeys. He's riding the first donkey and 4 donkeys following. So he stopped midway and he looked back and he scratched his head. He counted those donkeys. He's only finding 4. And he looked back and he counted, he's only finding 4. And he thought, thinking, but I bought 5. So he ran a little bit again stopped and counted, and again scratched his head, but I'm only finding 4. I bought 5. Then he finally reaches in front of his house. And again he looked back. He stops in front of his house, looks back and he counts, and he finds 4. Meanwhile, his wife came out from that house. She asked, what happened? He said, I bought 5 donkeys, but when I'm counting, I'm only getting 4. She said, when I'm counting, I'm getting 6. So anyway, so I was telling about sometimes ignorance is bliss also, because this donkey, he cannot make decisions and all that kind of thing. But they don't do things which we do. So this intellect, that is it. And I told you on one of the previous days, the nature of the Dvandva Jagat. The nature of the Dvandva Jagat is that the 2 things are packed into one thing, right? And that means that you have the opportunity to go this way, or you have the opportunity to go that way. And if that opportunity is not used wisely, we become worse than the donkey. Because he is already fixed, isn't it? So I make a conscious choice to become a donkey, isn't it? That if you go that way. So the upadhi of the individual beings are different, and therefore the amount of consciousness that can reflect in that upadhi is different. So the avatars have full or whatever color of consciousness reflecting in that upadhi, and that gives superior knowledge, superior power, superior, because remember the reality consciousness is Sat and Chet. So it gives superior power, superior knowledge. We often find Sarva Shaktiman. Ishvara is Sarva Shaktiman. So if more of Ishvara is reflecting in this body, then you will have more power. If less of Ishvara is reflecting in this body, you will have less power. Sarva Shaktiman, Sarva Jnana. So it all depends on the upadhi. The presence of Ishvara is same, uniform everywhere. The presence of sunlight on the wall and the presence of sunlight on the mirror is same. Sunlight doesn't hold itself back. No, I'm not going to shine on this wall. Sunlight cannot hold itself back, isn't it? Sunlight shines equally on the wall and shines equally on the mirror. So Ishvara is there equally, on uniform, undifferentiated Ishvara, the reality. But it's just in the some upadhis now reflecting more of that, some upadhis are reflecting less. So this is the difference between an ordinary human being and an avatar. But now if you see, it is the same consciousness which is reflecting in the ordinary human being and same consciousness which is reflecting in an avatar, and it is the same space, air, fire, water and earth which goes up into making both the upadhis also, isn't it? That is why I said there is Jiva, Brahma, Aikya. Jiva, Brahma, Aikya means there is oneness between Jiva and Brahma. The fact that one is manifest. See, for example, if you have a glass of water here and you have 5 ice cubes here, there is oneness. They just look differently, isn't it? That is all. They just look differently. Nothing. The 2 children will come in the potter's shop. He will take clay lion. The other boy will take clay tiger, and they will start fighting. My lion is stronger than your tiger. This other, my tiger is stronger than your lion. And 2 of them will. But when you go down to the fundamentals of lion and tiger, these are only things which the 2 boys are thinking in their mind. This is clay, and this is clay. So, none is stronger, none is better, none is more expensive, but human beings have a knack for making it more expensive. Because this is made from the same clay, and that is made from the same clay. But we have weaved numerous ways to make this one more expensive than this one. Human beings do that. The 2 will be made from the same clay, right? Clay lion, clay tiger. But see how human beings and our desires and our likes and dislikes and attachments and all of such things. See what we do. This clay tiger was owned by Einstein. Right? And this clay lion, we got it in a used shop down the street. We don't know who owned it. Which one is worth more? Those 2 came in the same exact clay. In other words, the human psyche has added something. Collectively, all of us have agreed this one is worth more. Because we add that value, this as a civilization, as people, by our likes and dislikes, we add that value. And what is the measure of our likes and dislikes? It amounts to 0. It isn't worth nothing. But delusion in human society. And this thing will move from here, and next 5 years it will be auctioned again, and it will be worth more. And we go on it. How we waddle in delusion is amazing. The human beings. On and on we go with such things. So anyway, this science which we are talking about requires that all of us start stripping ourselves of these superficial additions which we all make mentally, and start seeing the one, like for here now, I have to strip Einstein and strip, the 2 things are one and same. Clay, isn't it? So we have so many countless superficial differences that will forever prevent us from seeing the one Ishvara, which is the Atma Chaitanya, and the one Ishvara is the same all the upadhis coming together to form everything in this universe. The number of superficial differences which we hold in our mind, which is of course the result of delusion, that is numerous. Therefore now you will understand why in this tradition we go on saying Raga Dvesha Viyukta is to give up this Raga Dvesha, Kam, Krodh, Mother, Lobh, all because these things they perpetuate all of these superficial differences which we have now, and we will never be able to see the Ekam Advitiyam Brahma because we maintain too many distinctions and differences in our mind. We concentrate more on the differences, we concentrate more on the non-essentials than on the essentials. I tell you, this is a disease of human being. If this shirt has one drop of masala, this is absolutely clean, the rest of it. But nobody will see the rest of that clean clothes. We will only see that drop of masala. Correct or not? That is how the human mind is so quickly sidetracked into non-essentials. That thing is called as vikshepa. How there's a rope there, but the mind quickly throws a snake on it. Isn't it? So that is a disease of that mind. And that is why we need all this. When there's a disease, what you do? You go to a doctor, you tell doctor, आजकल ऐसा होता है, in these days it's like this. Then the doctor checks, whatever, acha, this is your problem. One fellow went to doctor, he said, doctor, I have this big problem. What is your problem? Wherever I touch, it pains. Wherever I touch, it pains. The doctor checked him and realized finally his finger is broken. How does somebody come everyone So the doctor checks. So what is the test? First there is an examination. Then after the examination there is a diagnosis. After the diagnosis there is a prescription. After the prescription you can just solve the prescription. You can roll up the paper and swallow. Nothing will happen. You take the prescription and you go there, and whatever the prescription tells, you have to follow that thing properly. Otherwise, that fellow took that medicine and came home, and he held on to a pillar and he started shaking. And I asked, what happened? He said, before taking, shake well. Before taking this medicine, shake well. That is not the interaction. Been shaking medicine, not you. The doctor gave that man 5 pills. He said, look here, don't take this pill today. Skip 2 days and then take this pill. He got a rope and he skipped for 2 days. I surprised he didn't pass away, So all of these steps have to go on, isn't it? Then you follow that thing exactly as the doctor tells. Then this disease will. So this disease of human mind. How this mind is only trained to see all these differences and all these, and how it harbor and culture and engender and foster all these likes and dislikes, calm, cruel, everything which is based on different. All of these are based on differences. All of these are based on variation and seeing the variation. If I get angry with you, that means I have isolated you from every other thing, isn't it? But I'm specifically angry with you only. So I'm bent on maintaining that distinction of you apart from, you are not connected to anything. And when the reality connects everything. So the reality is in one way, and the reality is broad and all encompassing. You are narrowing it down to. So our vision is like mind is trained like that for many, many birds. So therefore, we find some teacher, some sampradaya, some guru, some teaching. We find ourselves there, and then the prescription is have that satsang slowly. So, Bindu Satsanga, Vivek, no hui. Without satsanga, Vivek will not come. And there the teacher will give guidance. This tradition, the scriptures, all of this will give guidance. We follow that and do that sadhana, and we'll come to see. Follow all these sadhanas as it is prescribed. Otherwise, what happens, Nahi so tasya simhasya pravishanti mukhe bhagam. One lion is there, he opens his mouth and he lies down like that. And he said, oh, I'll keep my mouth open. Some day will pass and come in my mouth, I'll eat it. Any day will come in his mouth, he'll die. Anybody who sits down like that called wishful thinking, a day will come in my mouth and I'll eat. The human being succumbs to tamas and he waits there. He does no sadhana, does nothing. And the peculiar thing about that, he does nothing but he wants the result. What a human being. He does not do the sadhana but he wants the result of the sadhana. Isn't it? He does not do the work but he wants the result of the work. Nah? He does not work all week but he wants the salary. He always is like this. He does not live a healthy lifestyle but he wants to be healthy. He does not study but he wants to pass the exam. Human being always like this. So the sadhana is given in the sampradaya. We have to do that thing, isn't it? And I told you, in your now here which we are studying, the basic thing is Shravanam, Mananam and Nidhyasana. Listening Tattvamasi is very easy. Thou art that, Aham Brahmasmi, Prajnanam Brahma, I am Atma Brahma. Listening to that doesn't take very long, isn't it? Reflecting on that thing takes a long time, you see. So we have to listen and do a lot of reflection. That's our sadhana. Of course, prior to that, there is sadhana chatushtaya and all of that you have studied. But here, we are presuming that all of those things are done. That you are here, Shravanam, Mananam and Nidhyasana. So we'll come to see it is the same one reality that has evolved space, air, fire, water, earth, made all of the upadhis. The same one reality is reflecting in those upadhis, but the source is one and same. And so there is a oneness in the universe. When we are living at the superficial level here, we are caught up with diversity, caught up with all the nama rupa, and we forget totally the substratum of that one reality, which is appearing as this, appearing as that, appearing as everything. This is that Paramatma, which is the one reality which is there in this universe. There are no two things, there is only an appearance of two. So this is the teaching of Vedanta, and sadhana is a very, very integral part of this whole thing. I'll tell you, just to sum up this whole thing. This entire tradition, see, Hindus have the most scriptures on the earth. Hinduism is the oldest existing tradition on this earth, with the most scriptures, the most forms of God, most philosophical tradition, most of everything. Anything you ask, it has most. With all that variety and that unimaginable, voluminous array of scriptures, sometimes you feel that it is bewildering when you see the volume of teachings and scriptures and gods and traditions and practices and rites and rituals and philosophies and everything. But I tell you, you take all that together, it can be summed, this whole entire tradition can be summed up in 2 words only. And so it is never bewildering. It is so simple, so easy. There are 2 words which sum up this entire tradition. One word is called as mukti, and the other word is called as sadhana for that mukti. You tell me one thing which it cannot fit into these 2 things in this religion. If you're doing any rite, ritual, study, shravana, manana, nirjana, this is all sadhana. Everything fits here. And then the sadhana is a spiritual practice done for a goal. The goal is mukti. The whole tradition, the entire Hinduism is summed up in 2 words. Mukti and sadhana. Mukti means enlightenment, liberation, whatever you want to call it. Moksha, freedom. And for that freedom, there is a means. Literal meaning of the word sadhana is means actually. It's all spiritual practice. That is the means to mukti. What else is there in Hinduism? There is nothing else. We may misuse or whatever is there. That's a different matter altogether. Because we misuse all religions. We misuse. Let me tell you, when we say that this whole thing is summed up in two words, mukti and sadhana. The prescription, therefore, is the scriptures give all the sadhanas. You are supposed to follow the sadhana. Just now I told, when the doctor gives the prescription, you have to follow that thing, whatever is written there. Huh? You don't want to skip for 2 days and you will die. Already you are sick. If you don't follow that thing properly, some mishap will happen, isn't it? So here now, religion in the very same way, we have misused religion and spirituality. We have misused over so many countless thousands of years. That's why religion ended up killing so many people. We misuse that thing. What? The misuse for power, misuse for wealth, domination, this, that is not sadhana. This whole thing was meant as sadhana too. You know that people use one thing she's not meant for. How many of you have not used a knife for a screwdriver? In your house, you take a knife to turn some, then a knife is a screwdriver. But everybody use like that, no? This is the misuse of religion, which is merely sadhana really. Religion is supposed to be nothing but sadhana for a particular goal. That is all. It's just a simple thing. The other way to say that in the bhakti marg, you say, look here, the bhakti has its own language. In bhakti marg, we are supposed to use all the things in sansar to reach Bhagwan. What we do? We use Bhagwan to get all the things in. Nobody wants Bhagwan. No. We want Bhagwan to procure this and procure that. So when we go there, we have a shopping list. Bhagwan, you please give this, give this. That is why Bhagwan is hiding. Nobody can find him. Instead of using the worldly thing to reach Bhagwan, we are using Bhagwan to reach the serve ulta. Okay, isn't it? That's why I was telling you, this Jiva is living an upside down existence, life. Huh? Okay, like the bhakti. But here we say all the sadhanas are here, and the sadhanas are meant to reach that reality, and this sums up the entire tradition. And here it is the reality, which is the one reality which is there in this universe, which has manifested as everything. So all what we have in front of us is only sadhana. And look here, one more thing about this, do you know? If the sadhana is done, you don't have to worry about the mukti.
Yeah.
That will take care of it. So if you go and lie down on your bed and take off the light and you remove your mind from other things, you will sleep by yourself. Sleep will happen. If you go on trying to sleep, oh, I must sleep, you can't sleep, isn't it? You just have to leave it. Then, in the same way, you just do the sadhana. What happens? We always try to put the cart before the horse. Do the sadhana, everything will take care of it. Self. Realize that one absolute reality. Okay, this is the Paramatma, which is the last one, which is Jagadeshwara, supreme reality only, in all the various forms, that evolution of Ishvara, how it is called Ishvara, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and all the avatars, is different in avatar and us, it's just the Upadhi only. But the Upadhi still is made up of same Brahman, space, air, fire, water, earth, and the consciousness is the same Brahman. So there is a oneness. Whether avatar or ordinary person, just that now we are caught up in this ordinary life with seeing only duality and separation and distinction and diversity and not learning to see the underlying substratum or unity like that. Okay. Here comes the end of Jiva Jagath Jagadeshwara. No, so many things for you to think. Huh? I think now you might be having these lectures might also be available for your reflection. Don't think that your job is over. Your job is now started. There's a lot of reflection has to be done. The glory of a human being is his capacity to do reflection. The donkey cannot do reflection. The human being can reflect. And so reflect. And in your case, it is tough. It's tougher. Because now when you leave here, you reflect on your work at Caterpillar only. Isn't it? Your mind is gone there. So to come to a state where you see the work also as only happening by the Buddhas and all that, to come to that, you have to do a lot of reflection before, isn't it? That is a higher state. So it's tougher because you are caught in that hole. That means you have to put more effort. So then put more effort, more effort put means faster you move along the path. Blessings comes from all sides. Bhagavan is waiting to bless, Ananyashintayanto mam ye jana paripasate tesham nityaviyuktanam yogakshemam vahami aham. I take. So if you put that effort, Bhagavan will take care. Okay.
Thank you, Swamiji, for giving guidance on 3Js and for the worldly example of water, H2O. You have driven home the point for all of us that water is the real supreme being. So let us strive to be one in million, as Swamiji was saying in Sundarakanda, through his guidance. We will reflect on, we have these, we have made videos and we'll make them available to you. And after you take a look at it, we will publish it. With that, let's thank Swamiji with a big round of applause. So we'll reassemble at 5 o'clock today for the last session on Sundarakanda. Those of you who want to express your gratitude to Swamiji in terms of Guru Dakshina, please do so at the end of this session. Now, those who cannot come in the evening for a variety of reasons, they can do so. Otherwise, please do come in the evening.
Om Purnamada
Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.